Hello, Paul. Good morning. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I've only been doing Zoom for 5 years. I forget how to work it.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How's everything going with the transition? Are you doing okay, do you think?
Yeah. I'm already done with uploading YouTube video, so I'm already updated with that.
Really? Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I've uploaded some on Kajabi. I'm gonna finish it all so that we can be updated also in the classes there.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Great job. Hey, Laura, good morning, honey. I won't be doing the 11 o'clock call today, Rose, the mastermind. So put a notice
Oh,
out for that, please. Yeah.
okay. Will do.
Yeah. Lori, what's your take on that, the statistics that I gave you? What's your thought?
Wow, I didn't realize she was such a powerhouse
Yeah, that's a very big player. She's very good.
and that she might not need me.
Well, so you got somebody that's maybe younger or hungrier would go through fire. Let me do whatever I can. Well, it's like, hey, I'm doing so well. I don't need to put any energy or effort into Lori Mangan. She did. She gave you a buyer, so that's fantastic. It worked. The system worked. What she can't do is respond to all 50 agents the way that you approached her because she doesn't have that much business to give out. So at the very least, we knocked on the door, we told her what it would take, and she replied. She responded. That's fantastic, really. So if
Well,
you get,
I'm meeting with her and their um marketing strategy guy tomorrow.
oh, good. So she's going to be there as well, or just him?
She's gonna be there as well.
Okay. So what is the thought process? Because I know that you had a more, I guess your conversation with him is a little bit easier than the other ones, right?
Yes, the conversations I've had with him have been pretty superficial at networking events.
Got
I
it.
know you're not big on networking events, but it's a
Well,
pretty
so
big deal
I am.
here.
I am if you're able to do it with a specific plan. If you're doing it just to socialize and get to know people and be away from your husband or wife, well, okay, that might serve a purpose as well. But so many times people get lost in the busyness of those things. And when I ask, hey, tell me the last 5 networking events that you've been to, what's been the result, the financial result? 3 networking events, 2. Has there been any financial result? Then you got people that I'm helping through these classes. Some of them have been going for 4 years and got 0. So I'm not a fan of not working. I'm a fan of networking, but most people aren't doing it right, at least from my perspective. So
Right.
that's the thought process. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but have a little bit more intention. Otherwise, it's just a lot of follow up. I don't like that. So, and here comes Heather. Good morning, darling. You should be on cloud 9 today, girl.
It's
You
Monday.
should
I'm
be.
trying.
The reason I say that, Laura, and this is what I would share today. And again, I know we're in the stretch now, end of vacation season, beginning of school, so we might be a little bit thin in the herd for the next couple of weeks. That's okay. But I wanted to share, and since it's just us two, we could do that. I wanted to share what Heather did over this weekend, which again, I don't know in your area if there's anything like this going on. In your area, Laura, are there any distressed homes or homes that maybe a contractor started but didn't finish and somebody needs to bail them out? Are there any homes like that in your area?
No,
That's why I wasn't sure. So this might not be as relevant. Well, conceptually, it'll still be relevant, but long and short, here's what happened. So, and again, this isn't you. I'm just sharing what Heather's experience has been with me, and Heather can jump in at any point in time. Heather got a listing. She has on her flyers another loan officer's contact info. This was before she got married to me. She was actually putting this woman's sheet on her information on her sheet. So this buyer sees the information on Heather's sheet and calls that LO. The LO essentially says that house that you're looking to purchase will not qualify for a conventional loan, and neither will you with a 620 credit score. Heather doesn't know this is happening. So Heather introduced me to the client, and the client goes back and forth, and then eventually says 2 days later, we already have a lender. We're good. Thank you. And I'm like, what? Is Heather pawning me off? Like, what happened here? This doesn't make any sense. So I reach out to Heather. I'm like, I'm confused. She's like, they talked to the LO that was on my sheet before, et cetera. I'm like, no big deal. Do me a favor, get them back in front of me, help me communicate with them. And I shoot them a text that I have programs that others don't, at the very least, a second opinion. With Heather and me, they agree to get on a call Saturday morning. I'm going to long and short the call, but this is what everybody needs to hear. Everybody that's here, just let's do. So the idea is, what I said to them was, tell me what you're looking to accomplish with this particular house, and tell me what you were already told. And I said, okay, so let me give you a brief education. First of all, we take a look at the house and we take a look at you. We want to see what the house looks like to see what programs the house will fit into. I know a little bit about this house and I know about your story. So I'm going to tell you right now, 100% the house qualifies for a conventional loan. 100%. Based on our conversation, you will also qualify for that program. 100%. Now, I know you've been told something different. I don't want to say anything negative about anybody. Here's what I'm going to say. That other person is probably a wonderful person, but they might just not know what I know. They might not have access to what I have access to. So my point is, the education I gave you about those programs, you heard from somebody else something different. So now let's walk through the process so I can show you exactly how you can accomplish this. This was a 20-minute phone call, and I walked them through the entire process. Hi, Cindy. Good morning, honey. I walked them through the process of how I'm going to help them achieve this home. I then teach them things they've never heard before, one of which is this. With their credit score being where it was, I said, would you like that credit score to be higher? Does it matter to you guys? And I said, the reason I asked that is because when you go get homeowners insurance, a cell phone, a car, anything you buy, they look at credit. They look at credit. Is it important for you knowing that the highest score is 850 and the lowest is 0? Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, here's the easiest thing in the world to do. You've been paying rent for X number of years. Your rent needs to report to credit. They had no idea. I said, when your rental history reports to credit, you will see a 30 to 50 point jump in 2 weeks. There's nothing that works faster than that. 2 weeks. And I gave them the website to log on to. And I said, nobody's taught you that. So I'm earning my stripes because I'm teaching them things about the programs. I'm teaching them things about their credit. I'm teaching them how to accomplish what they want to accomplish. And they want this house that Heather has. They want this house, but they were told no by somebody else. So super long and short, I gave them the education on all that stuff. I then walked them through how to get their rental payment history reported to credit. I then brought my mortgage partner on the text chain with Heather and said, we need to complete this immediately because Heather has other people interested in this home. Over the next, I want to say 3 hours, the mortgage application was completed. My loan officer, and this was a Saturday night during dinner. So I'm trying to get a hold of my LO and I'm like, they might be actually having dinner with their family. So let me stand down a little bit. Heather, get a hold of the seller, let them know what it is that we're doing and get a verbal acceptance. At least keep the wheels moving forward. By the time my loan officer stops having dinner with their family, we'll get the rest of this thing formalized. It's exactly what Heather did. She came back. They're accepting our verbal offer. We finally got the LO back on the line. Everything was put together. And I believe within hours, they were signing contracts. So the reason I'm sharing all this with you is because the uniqueness of what Heather had was an LO that was on her old documents. She needs to get rid of that person, add me to it, was misguiding her client, which is a bad representation on Heather. Why the heck would you have this person that you're referring me to that couldn't help me and told me no? So now they're under contract. This is hours, within hours. So the particular program I'm referencing, and Cindy, we were talking earlier before you jumped on, I don't know if in your area, Cindy, there are any distressed homes, any homes that have been sitting for a while that might need a little bit of love, a little bit of repair, or maybe a home that a contractor bought that he didn't finish that needs to be finished and it needs 50 grand or something like that. That's what Heather has. Heather has a house that needs about $30,000 worth of work. So with an FHA 203K, which is a rehab purchase loan, you can do that. Conventionally, it's called a home style renovation loan. It's the same thing. It's actually a little bit easier conventionally than it is FHA, but they function in the same manner. And the reason you might do one over another is really because of your credit profile and or the idea that a conventional home style renovation loan does not have 1.75 upfront as a charge like the MIP does for FHA. Other than that, we try and make it work either way. So my point is, long and short, from phone call to contracts, you're within 24 hours because of the scenario that I communicated with the client and Heather's assistance in getting me on the phone with the client. Heather, did I summarize all of that well?
Yes, sir, you did.
Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything else we need to know about this scenario?
No, I'm trying to think. That's really everything. We have actually got the I just got that's what I was texting on the phone. I just got word that the homeowner will have the gas turned on because the only thing gas is the heat, so they turn it off in the summertime. But she's going to get the gas turned on, so gas will be turned on and ready for inspections by the 27th. And we have the contractor that is going to head up all of the renovations going there tomorrow at 10 a.m. So we're all going to powwow at the house at 10 a.m.
So now, if we can go back a little bit, Heather, last week, and this is part of building your board of directors, that's my area of expertise in theory, but Heather gets this roofer, this contractor on her board of directors. Heather, share that with Lori and Cindy because I don't think they heard this, because this is going to make such, again, remember, gang, the two ways I look at building your board of directors, it's love and leverage. Love and leverage. I go to the people that I love and I go to the people that I have leverage with. Love and leverage, baby. That's where I go. So Heather communicates with a roofer. Heather, please share the story from your words, not mine. How did it all work out?
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, you guys know that I'm newer, so being introduced to this whole idea a couple months ago, I've really like tried to put it in full effect because honestly, that is the only traction and growth that I have seen in my business in like the past 3 years, other than being fed leads. And I don't want to live like that. So started reaching out to the people that I know that I have given business to, and I have definitely made money. Reached out to the first one. That's my biggest one. It's my roofing guys. Every single contract, whether it's a buyer or seller, I am calling them. I am having them come out. I'm having them do pre-inspections, which means it's a free lead for them. And if there's any repairs that need to be done, now they've got a free account that I just handed them. So in that conversation that I had with them, and mind you, ladies, it was me and a room full of like 4 or 5 guys. So it was a bit intimidating with construction guys, but I grew up in construction, so I held my own. But I went in there and I just told them, you know, hey, I know that we've had a partnership for almost the entire time I've had my real estate license, which is almost, you know, a little over 4 years. I said, you guys, I love our partnership. I love what you guys do for the clients. However, that's not doing something for me in my business. And they kind of looked at me and you know, I kind of wanted to tiptoe around it because you don't want to offend somebody that you're going to be asking for something. And I said, now that doesn't mean that what you guys are doing hasn't been beneficial. It's just not been beneficial directly to me or my business. It's not reciprocating the same benefits that I am giving you with my partnership on my side. And they were like, okay. And they really didn't have anything to say. They were kind of like dumbfounded. And so I gave it a minute and I paused and I let them think. And then when nobody had anything to respond within like 60 seconds, I then said, This is not me throwing you, it's not me throwing you guys under the bus. This is not me trying to, downgrade our relationship. What it is me speaking up finally and saying, hey, I feel that this is an unlevel playing field as far as our partnership's concerned, and I want to address this so that we can level it up. And it's not just a level up for me, it's a level up for both of us, because if you're able to reciprocate what I have given you, it will continue to grow my business, which is going to continue to grow yours. And that's when I read the room and they loved it. They gave me some feedback, and that's when I went in for the ask. Now, Paul's going to tell us that we should have asked for all of it, but I am still very new and green in this. So I didn't go for all of the business. What I did go for is something that was more logical, and I knew that they were going to have a heck of a hard time telling me no, which was I specialize in the senior niche. Do you know anybody in our area, because they work with a ton of realtors? Do you know anybody in our area that does that? And they all said no. And I said, well, you do know somebody. I'm sitting right in front of you. And let me tell you about my background, because they thought that I was only a realtor. That's all they've ever known me as. So then I educated them on my background, which I have a bachelor's degree in long-term care, and it's a dual bachelor's. So it's not just a bachelor's in long-term care, it's a bachelor's in health, human resources. I then have a minor in psychology and an associate's degree in business management. So I educated them on all of that, plus the new certificate as a senior placement specialist. And then I asked them, would you be willing and able to give me all of your 50 plus contacts? Anybody that you have that is 50 or older on your books, could you give me that, since you know that I specialize in what I am doing in the community with other business partners and other businesses? And they literally all sat back. They were mind blown. And I had the owner sit forward in his chair, and I'm going to like act this out. He sat forward in his chair, uncrossed his legs, and he leaned forward and he said, Heather, I have never had a realtor come to us and ask what you just asked. I am mind blown. And yes, yes, we have had realtors come and ask to give money as far as food or, as a vendor. We have had, realtors come and ask us to speak. We have never had a realtor come and ask not only to be a partner, but have it elevated at this level. And I said, you guys, I'm not asking you to be a partner. You are a partner right now. I'm asking you to be a member on my board of directors. I then went in and explained how that looks and what we're doing as far as developing that and what the goals are. And they loved it. They invited me back to do marketing. I have an appointment with them Thursday. They may actually be hiring me on as a like marketing person for them to start partnering. I also asked for them to be, if they want to be on my board of directors, they asked me what that looks like, what, responsibilities, duties, things like that. I explained what I wanted from them. They asked me if I had another roofer and what they could do to be my one and only. And I said, well, my one and only, now that's tough because, again, being a realtor, we got to play by the rules. However, I did tell them that to be on my board of directors, if they wanted to be the exclusive roofing company, that I would need them to commit at a high level. And then I went through what that was. And part of that was them giving me marketing dollars and co-branding. And they essentially wrote me a blank check. I'm not kidding you. I showed them what the value was and how much money that going through me and partnering with me as their marketing person would save them excuse my language, shit ton of money. So
Heather, when did you have the conversation with them? Was this a week ago, if I'm not mistaken?
it was Thursday.
So Heather,
And
I know
already,
that I don't have this plan all planned out, but generally, what is that marketing partnership going to look like?
yeah, so with them, it's going to be a little different because again, they want to be like my number one. So obviously, if you're going to be somebody's number one, you and I both know like that's going to take dollars. It's going to take a lot of time. And from them, what I want, they have not only offered they've got a beautiful building and it's huge. They have a building that they have offered for me to do seminars at or hold parties or what have you. And it's like I said, it's beautiful inside. It's actually, they have a portion of their showroom that is set up like a trade show where it's got like little sections for different, I can't think of the word. They can show you the stuff, show you like take it apart and all that good stuff. So they've got that there. The other thing that they also offered to do is, I mean, granted the blank check for marketing dollars for co-branding for advertising. So what we're discussing this week, I'm meeting them on Thursday. We're going to discuss, they have somebody doing their social media already, which is awesome. I don't want to do that, but we're going to discuss kind of like our reminder media magazines, what that looks like. Do they want a full back cover or do they want inserts? And if so, how long are they, gonna dedicate? How long are they gonna sign on for this? And what is their budget? Because based on their budget is going to depend on what I am able to do for them. Am I going to run promotional ads on Facebook with stuff with mine? Am I going to start co-branding my handouts with their information? The other thing that we discussed is they have a roof warranty. So they are giving me a discounted rate at that. They actually offered it for free, but I know the value and I don't want them to lose money. Again, our partnership is based on growing each other's businesses, not hurting it. So I am going to get the original price for it is like $150. I'm getting it for 50. I then negotiated with them not to pay that up front. It will only be due at closing. And then it kind of helps streamline the way the paperwork is done because if I don't represent the buyer, I represent the seller. That warranty is essentially paid for by me, even though it's not my client, and it is transferred into that buyer's name. So what does that do for me? That's a level up for a client that's not even mine. And for 50 bucks, it was worth it. And I don't even have to see it go into my pocket because I can delegate title to go ahead and pay that straight to my roofing contractor. The other good thing about this is the roofing company has a GC license. So make sure that when you're talking to the roofing companies, ask what type of license they have, because if they have a GC license, a general contracting license, they can do anything. They can have a subcontractor work under them. So finding that out, that they had a GC license and a GC commercial license in the meeting with them last Thursday came in hand over this weekend when I could not find a GC to get into this house to give me quotes on repairs. So I reached out to them and immediately they raised their hand and was like, heck yes, we can get in there Monday or Tuesday. And obviously this is going to do big things for them because they're going to be able to do the renovation, which means again, more photos, more marketing, more promotion, and that's going to get them and their name out for general contracting in a market where they are not general contractors, they're roofers. So again, growth.
Hell of a story. So let me just go back now. And after she went on that absolutely beautiful description of what she put together, let me share some thoughts with you, right? So she did a great job. I never negotiate with my partners, but will negotiate with a vendor. Now, I understand what I'm saying. We talked about this before. I never call them vendors because people act in accordance with their title. So I call them partners. So if they're a vendor, they're going to act like a vendor. You're going to treat them like a vendor. You're going to try and pinch them for money, marketing dollars. Let's do this, sponsor this. That's what a vendor does. I don't want a vendor. I want a partner. So I'm just elaborating on some of the things I shared with you guys before. Second piece of it is I don't ask, I instruct. That comes with a lot of confidence. I don't ask, I instruct. When I was communicating with her buyers, I didn't ask them, so what do you think? Is this okay? I told them what the next step was. When Heather's on the phone with me, I said, Heather, communicate this with the seller, get a verbal acceptance, get back to me. I didn't ask if it would be okay to do that. I'm instructing. It's not me. I'm not being a dictator. But there's a difference, gang. I find that the ask sometimes is a little awkward for people. And they say, well, I didn't ask enough for referrals. I got to ask. Well, I don't ask for anything. I instruct. If I've done enough, I can require enough. And with her buyers, I did more than anybody they've ever experienced before. They were elevated through the phone. I'm just going to instruct. Why would I ask somebody who's already following me if they want to keep following me? Why would I do that? They're already following me.
I want to comment on that, Paul, because they have said multiple times, and I haven't told you this yet, multiple times they have said, thank you so much for hooking us up with him because he is amazing. Like they love you. They love you. So thank you again for your support because they were not happy with the other lender. So to hear every day since they have spoken with you, every single day they have texted or called me and said a compliment, not just about you, but also about our partnership and the level that we were able to provide them not only information, but a start to their successful end.
Right. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. I didn't know that. That's wonderful. So getting back to this kind of stuff here, gang, this is very important. And this comes with confidence and reframing your environment. And that's why we continue to do the things that we're doing. Think about this. Heather's making thousands of dollars because she pushed that person over here. And the way that I communicated, put everything together and get this thing under contract immediately. That's thousands of dollars. Let me get back to my original comment. I don't negotiate with my partners. Here's why. Which one of you on this call likes it when a buyer or seller says to you, I want you to take less than what you think you're worth? How does that make you feel? He's like, we're not even having a conversation. Lori's like, oh God, this isn't happening, right? So my point is, if you don't like that feeling, why would you impress upon your partner the same feeling? Why are you asking for a discount? You don't like it? Think about this. If you don't like it, why would you ask for it? So what most vendors do is they think giving your client a discount is a benefit to you. No, it's not. And by the way, my client isn't asking for it. They're trusting me. You don't have to take less than what you're worth. Don't ever do that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a tip. You do the job well, you do it wonderfully, and they love you, I'll give you an extra $100. Heather, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm giving you an example. Why do I do that? You overpay somebody. Watch how quickly they want to be your partner. Go ahead. Instead of tipping somebody 20%, tip them 50. Watch you get their attention. Think about this. You do the exact opposite of what we're taught. Negotiate, negotiate. No, give them more. Negotiate up, not down. You're going to make $6 grand, $8 grand, 10 grand on this deal. Give that guy an extra couple $100. He'll jump for you. And that's what you want in a partner. Now, I'm sorry, Laura, you have a hand up? I apologize. I didn't know if you were giving me a high five.
I wanted to ask Heather, what your approach was to them, to get the initial meeting.
You're gonna laugh. I got tired of the same old shit, to be honest. I got tired of consistently in referring to people that were not referring back. I have had a very, very slow year. This is the slowest year I've had in the little time that I've had my license. However, this is the first year that I have not utilized Zillow leads or things like that. I've literally only worked on referrals or my own advertising, which again is all natural. It wasn't paid. So what I did is joining you guys on these calls really sparked a fire under my butt, and I sat down and I made a list of like my top 10. I just did 10. That's it. I started with my top 10, narrowed it down to my top 5 about who I referred the most to most frequently and who I know I had made the most money. So you guys are going to say the same thing. It's always our inspectors or our lenders. And my first one that came to was my roofing company. And it's the one company that I have been with since I started. And when they started their warranty program, I was one of 5 agents. I was the first, I was actually one of 3 that started. I was the first of 3. And they knew that. They acknowledged that in that meeting. I didn't bring that up, they brought it up. So that only reinstilled that I knew that they knew that I knew I had value. And by them saying that just reinstilled my confidence throughout that meeting. So what I did is when I sat down and I had my come to Jesus moment with myself, what I did is when I made that list, I chose the top 5 and that's who I went after first. I set a goal for myself that I would meet with at least 4 of them within 1 month, so 1 a week. It's logical. And I just reached out to him. I reached out to my sales partner and I was like, "Hey, what do I got to do to get a meeting with you and like the rest of the guys that are in management?" And he's like, "Well, what's going on, Heather? Did I do something wrong?" And I was like, "No, you've actually done everything right, which is why I want to meet with you guys because I am starting a board of directors. And I'm doing this because all too often the word partnership gets thrown around and we are starting to branch apart. And I don't want to see that happen with you and I. So what I want to do is I want to bring us together and I want to present an elevated level to you guys on what I'm doing. And I want to see if you guys are interested, if you want to be a part, and if you do, how active and how big of a part do you want to be? So they brought me in. It took quite a few weeks because like I said, there was like 4 or 5 different guys that they wanted to make sure was in there. They actually ended up calling additional people in while I was talking because they just loved what I was talking about. So just honey, go in and be super duper authentic, be very down to earth, and lead with your heart and your passion. People that have the same passion and lead with their heart and passion will see you and they will feel it across the table and they will want to finish your sentence and be on board.
Thank you.
It's the same stuff we teach, Laura, in our private calls. It's the same kind of stuff, you know? So very quickly, just for the sake of respecting the time, on this side here, these are some of the things that I told Heather that she could be exploring. Think about this, gang. This is a large roofing company. They have employees. I said to Heather, get together with a financial advisor, estate planner, probate attorney, mortgage guy, and you, and let's do some financial education courses to their staff. Let's bring them lunch during lunchtime. 3, 4, 5 people come in via Zoom or in person and teach them. Now, the reason I say that is because they're probably not going to want to just do it with Heather because there's a lot of agents that use them. But if Heather is part of a team, then it wasn't just, well, I picked Heather over you. No, this financial advisor, they all came and they want to put on a seminar for our company, teach us about money. It was great. The employees loved it. Through that, she's part of that. Now she has leverage with the other professionals she brought to the roofing company. On top of that, figure out how many employees they have and who's buying, selling, divorcing, marrying, relocating, second home. Let's find all that out. Let's get a little survey. Have them all take the survey.
You just
I
gave
want
me
to
an
know
idea.
from the owners of the company, all of your family and friends. Are any of them getting married, divorced, dying, relocating, buying a second home? Be very intimate with those questions. She's thinking that she's going to refer them to outside clients. Wait, let's look inside before we look outside. How about the person or the company that does your taxes? Roofer. Who's your financial advisor? Roofer. Who's your estate planner? Roofer. Maybe if you've got guys you love, we can bring them in and be part of this financial seminar for your staff. Go in before you go out, because what she did was these marketing dollars that are going to be spent is about the future. How about right now? How old's mom and dad? How old's your aunt, your uncle, your brother, cousin, sister? What's going on with your family? Tell me about your family first. Before we go and market to the world, let me help somebody intimately. That's where I want to go first. You've got them sitting right there. They'll tell you if they got a mom and dad still living, aunt, uncle, brother, cousin, sister, relocating, dying, getting married, divorced. They'll know it right there. So sometimes we get caught up. This is working. I feel really good. And Heather called me practically crying. She was so excited. We had a great conversation. So I didn't want to say, didn't you do this? She did a great job. I'm saying now take a breath. Look at all that was left on the table that you could still go back and do the next time you talk to them. You know what I forgot to ask you? How old are your parents? Are they still living? Do you have an aunt? Do you have an uncle? Who's caring for them? How about long-term care? That's my specialty. I did this before I came here. She can literally do that the next time she goes. Explore everything on an intimate level before we start trying to market to the town. Those are my thoughts. If you can remember anything from this, remember the board of directors. It's love and leverage. Love and leverage. Steal that phrase. Love and leverage. Recognize that we call them partners, not vendors. You can do anything you want. This is just my perspective. And I don't ask, I instruct. And that comes with confidence. I don't have to ask somebody to follow me if they're already following me. Thoughts, questions, anything, gang? We ran a little bit late. I apologize. So apply something today. Let me know if you need any help. I'm here for you. God bless you guys. I'll see you next week.